the time I'm making this video is January the 24th, 2023. 24 days into the new year. 3 weeks, if you want to be more technical about it. And already, we've had over 37 mass shootings this year, with the latest being two latest being in California and Washington State. And it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the simple fact that the people in charge of Congress, the Republicans, wouldn't be so closed-minded or closed-mouthed or more to the point, non-acting about it. Because the fact is, this is all on them. In their refusal to do something about it, because they're afraid that the gun lobbyists were going to withdraw money from them. But it's even 10 times worse when they're focused on non-issues. Their BS culture wars over saving lives. Now I'm going to read you an article from rawstory.com written by Thom Hartman and Hartman. Mass shooters celebrate while Republicans vow to protect us from libraries and history teachers. Saturday night, 10 people were murdered by a mass shooting in California, the 37th mass shooting this year. We're 23 days into 2023, and over 2,200 plus Americans have already died of gun violence. We're the only developed country in the world that unconditionally allows civilians to own military-style assault weapons, that allows open carry, and lets gun manufacturers openly buy politicians, thanks to the Supreme Court. As a consequence, we are the only country in the world where the leading cause of death for children is being blown apart by bullets. America has just a bit more than 4% of the world's population. But with more guns than people in our country, we have more than 40% of all the civilian guns in the world. Specifically, a Swiss-based research group found that there are approximately 857 million civilian-held firearms in the world's 230 countries and territories. And as ABC News points out, in America, there are over 393 million firearms in civilian possession as of 2017. About 10 million more have been sold in the United States since then. We are the only nation in the world with more guns than people. For every 100 people in America, there are 120 guns. Among developed nations, the next highest on the list is Canada, at 34 per 100 people. And other developed countries are lower or down the list than that. South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, for example, all clock in at fewer than one per 100 people. This is eternally a recent phenomenon. Before the Reagan Revolution, gun ownership numbers in America resembled Canada's. Today, however, America not only leads the world in gun ownership, but predictably, we also lead the world in gun deaths. As an exhaustive study of gun deaths in the world's 23 wealthiest countries published in the American Journal of Medicine found, quoting them, U.S. homicide rates were 7.0 times higher than other in high-income countries, and driven by a gun homicide rate that was 25.2 times higher. For 15 to 24-year-olds, the gun homicide rate in the United States was 49.0 times higher. Firearm-related suicides rates were 8.0 times higher in the United States. Unintentional firearm deaths were 6.2 times higher in the United States. The overall firearm death rate in the United States from all causes was 10.0 times higher. Unquote. Astonishing, they added 90% of all women killed by firearms in these 23 countries are in the United States, as well as 91% of all children killed by firearms. Fully 82% of all the human beings in the living world's wealthiest countries killed by firearms lived in the United States. Only 10% of the wealthy world's firearm deaths occurred in Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Iceland, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, the Slavic Republic, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, all put together. All those countries I just named account for 10% of firearms deaths in the in the top countries in the world. Imagine that. 10%. The rest of the percentage belongs to the United States of America. USA, USA, USA. Other countries have gotten their gun violence under control by simply reducing the number of guns in circulation and requiring gun owners to do two of the three things that we do across America for car owners: to be licensed and to register your weapon. More to the point, I would add one more thing. This is me talking, not the article. Take gun safety courses. Make it mandatory. And this is coming from the article, I add that we should include mandatory liability insurance like we do for cars. The insurance companies would then sniff out the high-risk gun owners and refuse to insure them, thus preventing them from easily legally owning a gun. Common sense, right? But then again, we're not dealing with a common sense country, meaning the United States. Gallup polls found last year that 57% of Americans and 85% of Democrats want stricter gun laws. On the excuse me. On the other hand, Republican politicians are moving in the opposite direction, endorsing gun violence and terror. Then Republican Congressman Madison Cawthorn said this after the Rittenhouse verdict, saying that Republicans should be, quoting him, armed and dangerous, unquote. Mary Jean Taylor Greene, a member of the House Oversight Committee and a member of the House Homeland Security Committee, said, quoting her, that gun rights are the only thing holding back the communist revolution that Democrats are waging, unquote. Because neo-fascists like these in the GOP continue to try and push America towards an armed civil war, opposition to gun control appears to be an issue that animates Republicans, seemingly enthusiastic about seeing Democrats and people of color die at the hands of vigilantes far more than Democrats. That recent Gallup poll found a drop in support for gun control amongst Republicans from 36% in 2019 to 22% in 2020. It used to be that Republicans opposed gun control because of the NRA's money, But the NRA is now a former shell of itself. Today, it appears they're opposing rational gun control measures because so many of them are openly promoting gun-based right-wing terrorism on American streets. America is caught in the crossfire between gun manufacturers bribing politicians with the blessing of 5 Republican corrupt Supreme Court justices and a fascist movement fed by billionaire-owned media machines that have seized control of the GOP. Fox News, I'm talking to you. Newsmax, I'm talking to you. Mass shooters and child killers are celebrating. Meanwhile, Republican politicians vowed to protect our children from, wait for it, libraries, librarians, and history teachers. The rest of the world is looking at us boggled. It's way past time to wake the hell up and do something about guns. Thank you for this article, Mr. Hartman. I'm going to make this very clear to you all. Gun control needs to happen in this country. It's going to piss a lot of gun nuts off. They're going to use the BS excuse about about what they're going to do if someone with good guys with a gun and blah blah blah. We saw good guys with guns in Uvalde, Texas. They did nothing when kids were being slaughtered. So there are no good guys with guns anymore. The shooting that happened in California late Saturday night. A good guy without a gun did something, saved lives because he saved God knows how many lives. So the good guy with a gun excuse is dead, in my view. Here are the facts. Republicans are so bent out of shape about candy, M&Ms to be precise. My God, they have female M&Ms. My God, save my children. They go crazy about drag queens. Well, actually, no, they're not talking about drag queens, considering the fact that a congressman, and we don't know who it is, I'm just going to name this son of a bitch, George Santos, was a drag queen. His excuse was he did it for fun, he did it for a fashion show, blah, blah, blah. They're all angry about drag queens. They're all angry about transsexuals. They're all angry about members of the LGBTQ. They're all angry about that. But they don't want to do anything about the guns. They don't care about the kids getting killed in schools. They don't want to do anything about that. Ron DeSantis, and trust me, Ron, your ass is mine when it comes to the next candy ass video. Your ass is mine, boy. Is raving, angry about. Matter of fact, for more and more of a general persuasion, the Republican Party, led by Ron DeSantis, who's trying to be president of the United States, is pushing and prodding laws against teaching Black history in schools, saying it's divisive, saying learning about the slave trade, learning about slavery, learning about the atrocities that this country has done under the American flag. Learning about the good things African Americans have fought for, learning about Frederick Douglass, learning about Martin Luther King, learning about Malcolm X, learning about the Civil Rights Movement, learning about the Civil Rights Acts, the Voting Rights Acts, learning about Bloody Sunday in Selma. All that is incredibly divisive on the eyes of Republicans. But they won't do nothing about the kids going to school day after day, wearing if if a psychopath is going to show up with an automatic weapon and blow their heads off. They're angry about everything that could cloud this idea of the United States is the greatest country in the world. But they won't do anything to protect the kids in the world. They won't do anything about protecting the citizens in this country. They won't do anything about that. I find it incredibly hypocritical. You're angry about, oh, you'll wage war against the M&Ms, but you'll say nothing about dead kids in the elementary school. You'll wage war against a person because she or she happens to be gay, lesbian, transsexual, transgendered, but you'll do nothing when a parent is crying their eyes out on international television because of a psychopath who got access to weapons, brings one to a school, and blows a kid in half. You'll wage war on American history when it's a black man or a black woman teaching it or being a part of it. But you'll do nothing to wage war against unmitigated slaughter of innocent people during a Chinese festival in California. Nothing. You're not trying to save America or save the children. You know what? It makes me sick to my stomach that I have to even make this comparison. But every time I look at a Republican crying about, uh, we need to save the children, protect the kids from the LGBTQ. We need to protect the kids and children from transgenders, from drag queens. We need to protect the children from the American history. You people always sound like Helen Lovejoy from the damn Simpsons. Won't somebody please think of the children? Please save the children. What about the kids in school who are probably scared out of their fucking minds to this point that they're worried that another school shooting might happen? And all for you religious folks, you religious evangelicals, you can quote the Bible like until you're blue in the fucking face. You're forgetting that mass shootings happen in churches as well. Oh, you forgot about, oh, matter of fact, let me remind you. South Charleston, South Carolina. Psychopathic and white supremacist brings a gun to a Bible study. Guns down 8 people. Didn't hear a fucking thing from you Republicans, from you evangelicals. Did I? Would you go to war against black people because they want people to learn about the real history about this country? You want to go to war on that. You know what? Republicans, keep your mouth shut about any other mass shooting that happens from this day forward. You don't care. You don't give a fuck. You've shown that you don't give a fuck because you don't care. Because it's not about the Second Amendment anymore. It's not about protecting the rights of gun owners. It's not. It's not about protecting the rights of individuals in this country. It's about nothing but greed. And frankly, and to be very, very, really honest with you, you're willing to let these people do the dirty work for you. You heard me read in this article 2 examples: Madison Cawthorn and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wonder how many other people are out there screaming the same thing, saying that Republicans need to kill Democrats or kill blacks. Remember that idiot in Buffalo who repeated replacement theory? Isn't that right? Tucker Carlson of Fox News. And don't think you're off my shit list, boy. You're still one of the top 5. One way or another, you are going to be held responsible for that. But as for the rest of you Republicans, you don't care. So do yourself a favor. Another mass shooting happens in this country, say nothing. Because we know what your priorities are. Control over everything. Not making sure the rest of the country is free and safe. Not making sure that people have rights like you swore you would when you placed your hand on the Bible and said the oath of office. So help you God. All you care about is control. It's going to backfire on you on the worst possible way. I wish no ill on you, but maybe, just maybe, you'll understand if someone you love was in that school, was in that church, was in that gathering in California, in those gatherings in California, and God knows how many other places that mass shootings have occurred. Not just in 2000, not just in the 24 days of 2023, but everywhere. But I still honestly, but you have shown me, and I don't care how this is going to make me sound. You've shown me that even if your daughter, your son, your brother, your sister, your father, your grandfather, your mother, your grandmother were involved in a mass shooting, you have shown me that you wouldn't care and you wouldn't do anything to stop it. You've shown me that, and that's a shame. That is a real shame. But you're gonna care when your ass is thrown out of office, because sooner or later you're going to push that button. You're gonna push violence on this country. You already have Madison Cawthorn. Well, you don't count because your ass is already out of Congress. You already have Mary Jean Taylor Greene. You already have Lauren Boebert. You already have Louis Gohmert. You already have Paul Gosar. It's only a matter of time before you do. When you say the wrong things and your ass is either thrown out of Congress or the Senate and put in prison if I have anything to say about it. It's going to happen. Bank on it. CTP Know The Truth. God bless. Peace to the left. Justice to the right.